His former boss at Bologna, Thiago Motta, likened him to the great Ronaldinho. AC Milan's current senior advisor, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and Gabriel Batistuta are his personal idols. Ineos are determined to make him their first marquee signing of their first summer transfer window. Who exactly is this boy, Joshua Zirkzee? Welcome to the United Sport. My name is Webb, and in this video, we are going to get to understand why exactly Joshua Zirkzee is set to become the first important signing made in this new era of Ineos. Let's get into it. Like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment. Now, born on the 22nd of May 2001, Joshua Zirkzee is only 21. He was born to a Norwegian mother and a Dutch father in Rotterdam. He says, in his own words, football was his only option. It was for him always either football or football. There were no options. But how did he cultivate his talent and what is his playing style? Those are the things we want to understand. Now, having been born to a Dutch father and being Dutch himself, calls himself a student of Johan Cruyff. Why? Because he cultivated his raw talent on what they call the famous Cruyff courts in the Netherlands. If you've been to the Netherlands, you probably have heard of what they call Cruyff courts. Now, Cruyff courts are what we call artificial turfs in our countries. They were first introduced by Johan Cruyff in the Netherlands when he was, of course, still alive, as played football and also coached it, one of the greatest coaches of our generation who changed football. And he's responsible for how Dutch football is, how the Dutch view football, how Barcelona, he changed football at Barcelona, both as a player and as a coach, changed football at Ajax, both as a coach and as a player. He is a great, he is probably would call the model of football when you talk about the Dutch. So on the Cruyff courts, these artificial turfs, there are so many in Netherlands, and under his Johan Cruyff Foundation, they formed a lot of them just to help young players to come and commune. You know, like those courts always do. They are for young players to commune and interact and make friends and network, stay away from crime while they learn football, which teaches you some good basic skills about life. Now, that is how this boy cultivated his talent playing in those five-a-side games, because usually on such courts or such courts, it's always five-a-side football. Now, in those courts, I think globally, world over, when you're playing as a child, usually you're playing against older people. So they teach you how to be strong, tough, to be able to keep the ball because you're playing in a short space, only a few of you. They teach you a lot, but also to have a good mentality because they fight. These are kids always. They fight against each other. So it's sort of modern day, the Gen Z street football. Back then, I think if you take it back to the millennials and generations before, street football was on real streets, in roads, in the middles of roads, on dusty maram streets or beaches in Africa, where I come from. But I think the Gen Z today are enjoying football on what they call streets, but in Cruyff courts, in whichever country you come from, I think they are there today. They are the in thing. So that is where he cultivated his skill, and he defines his style as pure and raw. And indeed, that's what he does. Let's get into him now. After understanding where he comes from, his style. Why is he compared to Ronaldinho? He was compared to Ronaldinho by Thiago Motta, who played with Ronaldinho at Barcelona. And of course, he's his own man. But if you watch Joshua Zirkzee play football, the way he's a striker, but the way he plays football is with passion, with finesse. He wants to, dodge, dribble, and dodge and beat off people. He wants uh, to make it exciting, to make it fun. Plays with a smile on his face, good with his back to the goal, hold up play. He comes deep and gets the ball and tries to beat off people, carries the ball around in an exciting, fancy way. In fact, my thinking is this boy was brought mostly to make money. How is he going to make money? I will tell you, kids of today are going to buy a lot of his kits because You need such players in your team to excite people. He's an exciting footballer to watch. He's an exciting talent because of his style of football. Still has that street element where he carries the ball and tries to dance around the ball, but smart, extremely smart and technical, but has got a lot of flair. That's the word I was looking for. He plays with flair on his feet and he makes it exciting. Even his celebrations are exciting celebrations, his energy, his joy and happiness. If you watched his video when he arrived when of course was a late addition into the Dutch national team, late call up. When he arrived there, he brought joy and fun to everyone. He's full of energy. That's him. There's a certain aura about him that indeed is loved when it comes to dressing rooms and being around players. So he played for several clubs, of course, the likes of Ado Den Haag. He played for Anderlecht. Of course, he was loaned there when he was at Bayern because he was after Ado Den Haag, went to Feyenoord. Then from Feyenoord, he joined Bayern Munich at a young age in 2017. Now, when he joined Bayern Munich, scored 2 goals in his first few minutes, I think less than 10 minutes in his first game. And the expectation was that he's going to be a star. But somehow it did not go well for him, and they kept loaning him and loaning him and loaning him. And it was but it was in Anderlecht that he tried to make his mark, scoring about 16 goals in his first full season playing for Anderlecht on loan. That's in Belgium. And that's where, of course, this Bologna team saw a talent, brought him in, and he became the heir to Arnautovic, who, of course, was moving on. So he was always on the bench. Arnautovic was ahead of him at Bologna. And then later he comes in now to step up and take on the mantle. First struggles a bit before he turns up. And eventually, we are talking about him at Man United after scoring over 16 goals and guiding. He was the pillar, the linchpin in Bologna qualifying for Europe for the first time in their existence. This boy, Joshua Zirkzee, is a game. Now, I just wanted to give you a background on him. I don't know how many minutes I've spoken for so far. Honestly, I even lost my timing. But I've had people asking questions. What is the plan? Yeah, I actually saw someone dropping a lineup and saying he will be starting ahead of Rasmus Højlund. Well, I think that's not exactly obvious. He's a good player, but the reason he's brought at Manchester United is to push Rasmus Højlund. And pushing him means he's pushing himself. They're going to push each other. The fact is, Højlund is ahead of him. That's why Man United paid £72 million for Højlund. You don't pay £72 million for a player to keep him on the bench. Højlund, in his first full season at United, it's not even a full season per se, but he showed his potential, scoring, 15 goals in all competitions? That's as much as Wayne Rooney scored in his first season. Højlund is a top striker. But for him to get the best, for the best to come out of him, he needs to have a partner who will push him. That is one. But also, doesn't need to be the one to take all the pressure. He's too young to take all the pressure. That comes with being the marksman for a team like Man United, that you're expected to score the goals only you. And if you're not there, whether you're injured, people want you to score goals. If you come back from a long injury layoff, people still just want you to score goals because there is no backup. No, this boy, they are going to share the pressure, but they will bounce off each other in terms of pushing each other to get the best out of them. And that is always good because remember, the best teams always have competition when it comes to the striking department. Or all departments anyway. You need competition. You need the coach needs to have options, not just one player and that's it. The player will lack motivation. He will feel entitled because Højlund, without being pushed, will feel like, okay, even if I work hard or not, I'm still the striker. So it is always good to have a player to push your marquee striker. Højlund remains the marquee striker for Manchester United, but this boy will come in for a couple of minutes, but he could also start ahead of Højlund if Højlund doesn't push himself to do better than him. So it's mostly a psychological thing. It's a thing. Competition gets the best out of people. So it's a good move that they're doing. So that's a bit of Joshua Zirkzee, who is set to join Manchester United, and it is expected that soon that deal is going to be sealed. It's going to be completed, and He's loved by the fans, I think, but I think his jerseys are going to sell a lot because of his style, his personality, his energy. He's likable. He's a likable character, and he deserved a club like Manchester United. For me, I honestly think this is excitement we are going to bring into the team, but expect a different style. Hoyland as well drops in the middle and gets the ball, and but Hoyland's style, he's left-footed. Of course, this one is right-footed, so that's another balance, by the way. But Hoyland's style is a bit different, but I also feel like this is a player who can be molded into an inverted way. You see the way Cristiano Ronaldo was at Man United. Some people are looking at him as a striker, as a number 9. I feel like this is another player we can mold into that Ronaldo player, mold him into someone who comes in from the right, where we have struggles with Marcus Rashford and stuff. So it's possible that him and Hoyland can actually start in the same team. Hmm? My name is Webb. This is the United of Sport. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.